noa.
I call Joanne Hayes.
Kia ora. Te pāna whānui o Ngāruahine e Raurangatirama, hoki. Tēnā koutou, anau mai, haere mai, ki te rā whakahirahira I tēnei rā. Kia ora. I'm pleased to stand to support this bill today in its second reading. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge the passing of Tā Graham Latimer, who had a major impact on the whole of the motu for the many amazing deeds that he did. I also want to pay tribute to Charlie Petera, another kaumātua rangatira from Taitukarau, and finally to Rob Cooper from Ngāruahine. Now, and I want to especially mention Rob Cooper because Rob Cooper had a big impact on hauora Māori for Aotearoa New Zealand, and he would have had a big impact up there in Ngāruahine. And I started working within the health sector when I first came across Rob Cooper and Gwen Tapania Palmer. And I was amazed at the amount of work and the push that they had in driving the improvement of Māori health through the implementation of the Māori health providers throughout the motu. So that's why I just wanted to take some time out to acknowledge Rob Cooper. Mr. Speaker, Ngāruahine is one of 8 taranaki iwi that have bills either coming through this, who have been through this process or are coming through this process now and in the future. And it's amazing that our Select Committee and the Crown can actually bring together all of these claims from taranaki through this House during this year, Mr. Speaker. It is amazing because all of the iwi, all the 8 iwi, all have their roots to the maunga taranaki and the horrific injustices that happen there and throughout that area of taranaki, Mr. Speaker. And I want to acknowledge the many people that came to the Select Committee hearing in Hawera this year. I want to acknowledge you because it's really, really difficult to articulate a lifetime of injustices in 10 minutes. To a group of MPs sitting there, listening intently, putting together the parts to the puzzle, to your history. And I want to acknowledge you because to do that, it takes a lot of guts and a lot of nerve, a lot of talking with your whānau and bringing together the words that you need to say so we can actually hear all the stories. And I want to acknowledge you. It's not an easy thing to do. Actually, I have never actually submitted to a Select Committee, so I take my hat off to you. I want to also acknowledge our Minister. I do that quite often here, but I just want to acknowledge him because he sweats a lot for these claims, for all the claims. He does that and works really hard. I have been privileged to be part and parcel of the many signings that he has done throughout the country, and the words that he articulates in the speeches, the apologies, they come from the heart. And I have seen him on one particular occasion where a teardrop nearly got there and he was able to hold it together, but that's how passionate he is. And I think that, you know, many people in the country don't realise the blood, sweat and tears that he goes through to actually make sure that iwi are acknowledged by the Crown. And some people might say, oh, it's not enough, and others might say it's too much. But I say, you know, it's the start. It's either the start of your economic development for your growth or for your iwi, or it's to grow what you have already put in place. All of these claims here, Mr. Speaker, they're not about the people sitting in the gallery. They're about the future. They're about the mokopuna that comes through. You know, it's about everything that's going to happen into the future. And all of you sitting here today in this House, you will go down in the history, your history, as your mokopuna in years to come will look back and say, it was my koro, my kuia that sat there and pushed hard for this day to happen. So, Mr. Speaker, I have no other things to say today in the second reading. I'm very privileged and proud to commend it to the House. Kia ora.
Mr.